God is in deep shock because only you still don't know what happened last night. Please watch this message immediately before 11:51 p.m. God says, hurry up, this is your last chance to know the whole truth before it's too late. Open this message quickly. What happened last night wasn't small. It wasn't just another moment passing by. It was a shift in the heavens. Something eternal was stirred, and angels were dispatched in a way that hasn't happened in a long time. The gates of divine timing opened, and a flood of blessings began to pour, but somehow you missed it. God is not angry, but he is in shock because this was for you. Yes, you. And somehow, only you didn't see what he was trying to show you. You were meant to rise into a new place. What happened last night was the fulfillment of something heaven had been preparing for you for years. But you didn't notice. And now, the clock is ticking. Comment Amen to align yourself with what's coming next. Listen to this till the very end, because this isn't about fear, it's about truth. It's about what you are standing on the edge of. A breakthrough, a miracle, a moment so powerful that even the angels held their breath. You think you're waiting on God, but last night God made the move you were waiting for. The delay ended, the chains broke, the door unlocked, but because you didn't know, you didn't walk through. Heaven cried out, and only you didn't hear. Not because you were weak, not because you failed, but because the enemy has worked overtime to make sure you stayed distracted, exhausted, and confused. Like this video, if you refuse to let the enemy steal what was released over your life, God says this is your last warning, not because he wants to punish you, but because you are too important to let this pass again. The enemy isn't after your peace, he's after your purpose. And what was released last night was tied to your purpose. It was your turn, your healing, your answer, your restoration, your elevation. But heaven doesn't operate like this forever. There are windows in time when divine moments arrive, and if you don't grab them, they move on. God gave you the key last night, but you didn't pick it up. Do you understand why the Lord is grieved? Not at you, but for you. Because you've waited so long, you've prayed with tears, you've worshipped when it hurt. And finally, the moment arrived, and you didn't know. And if you don't act now, before 11:51 p.m., you risk missing the blessing that's still hovering over your life, waiting for you to step into it. Heaven is not silent right now. God is speaking louder than ever. But your soul has been tired, you've been under attack, and the enemy wanted to wear you down just enough that when your moment arrived, you'd be too weary to see it. But God is calling you back to attention, not to condemn you, but to restore you, to wake you up. Because your destiny won't wait much longer. There are lives connected to your yes. There are futures linked to your faith. There are miracles waiting for your move. Comment 1111 if you believe this moment was created for you. God's not done with you. In fact, he's just getting started. But you have to open your eyes now. You have to stop saying maybe later. You have to stop telling yourself you're not ready, because heaven said yes last night. Heaven released the scrolls, signed the papers, moved the chains, cleared the way. The spiritual realm shifted. Your name was called, and if you keep living like nothing happened, you'll miss what you cried for. Let this be the moment you remember, the moment you heard the truth, the moment your spirit finally woke up and said, no more delay. You've been surviving for too long. You've been asking God to just get you through, but God didn't create you to survive. He created you to rule, to build, to shine, to carry his glory into dark places. That's why the battle has been so hard, because the enemy saw what was scheduled for you before you did. Heaven is still open, the window is still cracked, but it won't remain open forever. God's love is unchanging, but timing is holy. You are standing on the edge of something eternal. The choice you make right now will determine whether you walk into the fullness of it or not. God says, I don't want to move forward without you. He says, I've already cleared the path. All you need to do is step. Don't overthink this. Don't wait for another sign. This message is your sign. You were not overlooked. You were not forgotten. Last night was proof that heaven is watching over you. The shift wasn't random. It was orchestrated. Your name echoed through the halls of heaven. Angels were released on assignment. Chains were shattered. Walls were shaken. Doors were unlocked. But if you keep living the same way today as you did yesterday, you'll walk right past your miracle without knowing it. That's why this warning had to come. God is calling you to realign, to remember who you are, to get up in the Spirit and declare, I will not miss what God has for me. This is not a moment for fear, it's a moment for courage. You've been asking God to speak. This is Him speaking. Through these words, through this moment, through this undeniable tug on your heart, it's Him. He is the voice inside your chest that's waking up again. You were made for this. You were chosen for this. But you must move. The urgency isn't to scare you. It's to remind you that time is sacred. The blessing is hanging right in front of you. The breakthrough is stretching out its hand. God is saying, will you finally take it? Or will you keep waiting for a safer moment, a quieter day, a more convenient season? There will never be a perfect time, but there is a divine time. And it's now. This is your now, and heaven is watching to see what you'll do with it. Could your brain be the reason you're still broke? Scientists just confirmed a 9-word sentence hidden deep in your subconscious may be blocking money from your life. But now you can reverse it. Say these 9 words and wealth starts to follow you starting today. But the government might pull this secret any minute. Click the link in the description and comments before it's deleted forever. Heaven knows your name. You are not one of many. You are the one God set apart. That's why your road has been rougher than most, because you carry something rare. The weight you've been carrying was never a punishment. But the truth is, God was preparing a moment so divine, so perfectly timed, that even the smallest delay could have cost you the entire breakthrough. That moment came last night, and while the world slept, the heavens moved. Angels stood at your door. The wind of change blew past you. And now, heaven is holding its breath, waiting to see if you will awaken in time. God is not shocked because you failed. He is shocked because this was the moment He didn't want you to miss. You've been faithful through fire. You've worshipped through heartbreak. And now the reward has arrived, and you don't even know it. That's why this urgency exists. Because when heaven delivers something, it doesn't always knock twice. The door is open, but it won't stay that way forever. The Lord says, my child, I called you by name. I moved on your behalf. Will you now move on mine? This isn't a coincidence. This message was meant to find you. It was divinely positioned in your path as a final reminder before the moment passes. You've asked for signs. You've begged for clarity. And now God has answered. Not with thunder or flashing lights, but with truth wrapped in love. He's speaking now, and He needs your spirit to rise and hear. This is your window. This is your hour. You will not miss it if you move now. But if you wait, if you keep sleeping through the Spirit, you may walk right past what you were born for. Comment 222 if you trust that what's coming is bigger than what's been. There are certain moments in life when everything shifts quietly. No explosions, no noise, just a soft move of the Spirit that changes the entire story. Last night was one of those moments, and your name was on it. God says, I sent the answer. I broke the curse. I loosed the chains. Now I'm waiting for your yes. The delay was never denial. The silence was never absence. I was working in the shadows, building what your prayers dared to believe. But now, I need you to step. The water won't part until you move forward. What you don't see yet is how many generations are tied to your obedience. This moment is not only about your breakthrough, it's about healing a bloodline. It's about restoring a name. It's about shifting the atmosphere in your family. That's why the warfare has been so heavy. That's why the enemy targeted your peace, your mind, your sleep. He saw what God was about to release and tried to blind you before you could receive it. But God stepped in. He fought for you last night, and now He's waking you up so you can fight for what's yours. You've been through too much to stop now. You've survived storms that were meant to destroy you. The enemy tried to bury you, but God kept resurrecting you. That wasn't by accident. It was all leading to this moment. And though you didn't see what happened last night, you're being given one last chance to respond. This is mercy in motion. This is love speaking loudly. God is not done. In fact, He's just getting started. But you have to say yes with your actions, not just your heart. You don't need more signs. You need more faith. You don't need perfect conditions. You need a willing spirit. God says, I already opened the door. Now walk through it. The anointing that fell last night was rare. It was the kind that only comes once in a lifetime, and it fell with your name on it. You must reclaim what is yours. You must get up and move, even if you're still trembling. Courage doesn't mean you feel strong. It means you choose to move even while you're shaking. This is your moment. Claim it. Comment 333 if your faith says yes, even while fear tries to say no. This isn't just about your prayers being answered. This is about your identity being restored. The enemy wanted to convince you that you were average, forgotten, left behind. But God never took His eyes off you. Even in your lowest hour, heaven was counting your tears. Every cry was planted like a seed. And last night, the rain came. The harvest began. But you're still standing in the field, unaware that the fruit is already hanging on the branches. Wake up. Reach out. It's yours now. God doesn't speak warnings like this often. He prefers to whisper, to guide gently. But today He's shouting not in anger, but in urgency. He loves you too much to let you keep walking blind. He chose you long before you ever knew how to pray. He marked you long before you ever knew you were in a battle. The calling on your life is real. The mission is bigger than you think, and heaven will not rest until you remember who you are and what you carry. Every delay you've faced, every door that slammed in your face, every person who walked away, none of it was by chance. It was all setting the stage. It was all clearing the path. You thought it was rejection, but it was redirection. God was pulling you away from what would have slowed you down. And now, finally, the hour has come. Heaven opened the book on your life and said, turn the page. What you've been waiting for is already here. It's waiting for you to wake up and say, I'm ready. Why did 19,583 people suddenly become financially free last month? They all discovered a strange sentence, just 9 words long, buried in neuroscience research and once hidden by the FBI. Now they're paying off debt, traveling the world, and living in homes they never thought they could afford. If you're seeing this, you're lucky. The page might disappear any moment. Click the link in the description and comments to know this secret before it's deleted forever. Don't go another hour ignoring the stirring in your spirit. Don't let another day go by thinking this is just another message. It's not. It's a lifeline. It's a trumpet. God is calling you out of slumber, out of delay, out of fear, into the promise He already unlocked. He's simply asking you to respond. Something shifted in the spiritual realm while you slept. And heaven is still holding that space open, but not for long. This is not just another day. It's a divine intersection. You are walking through sacred hours, and your yes carries eternal weight. You've prayed for doors to open, but some doors don't respond to words, they respond to obedience. God unlocked something for you last night, and if you don't pick up the pace, it may pass to someone else, not because He loves them more, but because purpose cannot wait forever. Heaven is on a schedule, and you are on the clock. You've got breath in your lungs and fire in your spirit for a reason. This moment is not just about you receiving, it's about you becoming. What you don't realize yet is how close you really are. The finish line isn't down the road, it's right in front of you. But the enemy knows this too. That's why the attacks intensified. That's why the confusion hit you out of nowhere. That's why people turned cold and doors slammed shut. It was never rejection. It was a distraction. Because if the enemy can keep you discouraged in the moment your miracle arrives, you'll walk away right before the victory manifests. Comment 555 if you believe your breakthrough is already waiting for you. God is not a man that He should lie. If He said it, He meant it. If He promised it, He will do it. But it won't always come the way you expect. Sometimes it comes as a sudden shift in the atmosphere, a moment that seems ordinary but carries eternal weight. That's what last night was, a divine release. You were included. You were written into the plan, the winds changed, the chains broke, and the heavens turned toward you and said, "Now." God says, "I saw you. I saw you pacing in the night. I saw the tears you didn't tell anyone about. I heard the prayer you whispered when no one was around. That's why I moved last night. That's why I chose now. Because I refuse to let you live the rest of your life feeling like your prayers don't matter. They do, and your time has come. But you have to wake up and receive it. There is power resting on your name right now. Not next week, not next year. Now. Heaven is waiting to confirm your faith with a sign. But signs don't come to those who sit. They come to those who move. You're not being asked to climb a mountain, just to believe again, just to respond, just to say, "God, I won't miss what you have for me." That one sentence can shift everything, because it tells heaven you're ready. And once heaven knows you're ready, nothing can stop what's been written for you. You've been silent long enough. You've held your breath through seasons that should have broken you, but they didn't. And that's proof enough that you're chosen. Many would have given up, but something in you refused to die. That something wasn't stubbornness, it was purpose. It was the Spirit of God inside you, refusing to let your promise go unanswered. That Spirit moved last night. It stretched out its hand, and it's still reaching for you now. Comment 1212 if you believe your name is being spoken in heaven. This is not a time to second guess. This is not a time to delay. Heaven isn't waiting for your perfection, just your participation. The anointing over your life is real, and it's bigger than you think. You weren't just called to survive, you were called to carry change. You were created to be a light in rooms others couldn't even step into. That's why you felt different your whole life. That's why your journey's been heavier. You carry something rare, and rare things go through fire. God didn't forget about you. In fact, you've been on His mind constantly. He's been arranging things behind the scenes, clearing paths, removing counterfeits, breaking hidden chains. Because the blessing he released last night wasn't just for the version of you that's tired and confused. It was for the version of you that's rising. The version of you that refuses to stay stuck. The version of you that knows, deep down, this is not the end of your story. You're not late, you're right on time, but time is moving quickly now. Heaven is urging you to respond. Don't let this slip past you. Don't silence your spirit again. You felt that tug for a reason. You opened this message for a reason. You're not here by chance. This is God pulling you closer, telling you that the shift has already started, and you need to move in alignment with it. There's more for you than what you've settled for. There's a higher place calling your name. You've got to start speaking differently, thinking differently, walking differently, because last night changed things. Whether you saw it or not, it happened. The atmosphere around your life shifted. Angels are moving on your behalf. Doors are opening. And God is still whispering, don't miss this. It's not too late. But it will be if you keep living like nothing's changed. Something has changed. And your spirit knows it. That's why it won't stop stirring. Could a 9-word ritual really be your key to financial freedom? What sounds like fiction is now being confirmed by science. Harvard researchers and FBI documents point to a hidden brain center that, when activated, draws in abundance naturally. This 9-word prayer has helped over 19,000 broke people attract wealth and live a life full of abundance. But this secret won't stay online long. Click the description and comments now to access it before it's permanently deleted. You've been trying to figure out why your heart feels heavy even though things seem calm. It's because your spirit remembers what your mind forgot. Your soul was there when God moved. Your soul knows what was released. It's waiting on your body, your choices, your steps to catch up. This is why you feel unsettled. This is why everything feels both familiar and strange. You're standing between the old you and the new you, and you have to choose which one will live. Let the old version go. The one that doubted everything, the one that hid from the world, the one that settled for less, that you died last night when heaven moved. Now you must rise into the identity God wrote over you. Rise into the calling that kept you awake at night. Rise into the strength you didn't know you had. You've been prepared for this hour. Don't waste it. There is power in urgency, but there is also grace. God is not threatening you. He's inviting you. This is a holy moment. Don't ignore it. Don't brush it off. Don't wait for another better time. This is the time. You've been asking when the battle would lift. And God answered, you didn't feel the thunder, you didn't hear the trumpet, but God moved, and now He's asking you to do the same. No more staying silent while your miracle knocks. No more hiding when your name is being called from heaven's throne. This isn't the time to dwell on what you missed before. This is the time to act on what's being offered now. God is not condemning you for not seeing it last night. He's giving you one more opportunity to walk into it while there's still time. Your miracle didn't vanish. It's still within reach. But every hour you wait, the distance grows. Don't let fear talk you out of what faith made possible. Don't let weariness delay your deliverance. The heavens are open now, and that won't last forever. The enemy's greatest fear is you waking up, because the moment you realize what was handed to you, everything he fought to keep in place will fall apart. Chains he reinforced for years will snap under your next step. Walls he built with lies will crumble when you open your mouth in truth. You have no idea how powerful your yes is. That's why hell tried so hard to keep you discouraged. But God says, I have not changed my mind about you. The promise still stands. The blessing is still waiting. But now you must stand up and take it. Comment 777 if you know the time is now and you refuse to miss it. What God released last night didn't require your strength, it required your positioning. And even though you didn't know, your name was called in the Spirit. That's why you've been feeling unsettled, like something is pulling at you. That's why things that once felt normal now feel uncomfortable. You've been shifted. Even if you didn't realize it, the old season ended. That's not poetic, that's spiritual reality. And if you try to walk through this week like nothing changed, you'll be out of sync with heaven. This is why God is repeating himself, something he rarely does, because your role in this matters. You've spent months, maybe years, asking him to open the door. And now the door is open, but only you can walk through it. Heaven won't drag you, it will lead you. But you have to decide if you're done waiting and finally ready to move. Faith without action isn't faith, it's hesitation. And hesitation has cost too many blessings already. But this time, it can be different. If you act now, you've been weary. That's understandable. But you haven't been abandoned. In fact, you were surrounded last night. Angels moved through your atmosphere, breaking chains you didn't even know existed. The chains of past regret, the chains of fear disguised as logic, the chains of old labels that people tried to tattoo onto your spirit. Heaven shattered them all. You're freer than you think. The only thing holding you back now is the mindset that says you're still stuck. But God says, you're not stuck. You're standing in front of an open door. You are not forgotten. You are not late. You are not too broken. You are positioned. You are seen. You are called. And you are standing on the edge of one of the most defining moments of your life. But defining moments don't always look grand. They often come as a whisper, a feeling, a stirring. A message that feels like it's pulling the breath out of your chest. That's this. That's now. This is your defining moment. You just have to say yes to it. Comment 999 if you feel your spirit waking up with these words. There is a cost to ignoring the tug of the Spirit. Not because God punishes you, but because life outside his will is filled with battles that were never yours to fight. You've fought long enough. You've carried enough weight. God didn't design you to live in endless survival mode. He called you into freedom, into clarity, into purpose. That's what last night was. A transition from surviving to stepping into divine alignment. But the blessing is on the other side of your obedience. You've asked for confirmation, this is it. You've asked for direction, this is it. You've asked for peace. It's waiting for you in the place of surrender. You've waited for others to validate what God whispered, but this time you don't need their approval. What heaven released over you last night wasn't a public announcement, it was a personal calling. One that requires a response that no one else can give. God is not looking for perfect words. He's looking for a willing heart. Is it possible to attract money by simply speaking some miraculous words? This 9-word script, verified by Harvard and 6 neuroscience labs, proves you absolutely can. People are using it from their couch and reporting unexpected bank deposits, cleared debts, and upgraded lives. It takes less than 30 seconds, but this secret won't stay online long. Click the description and comments now to access it before it's permanently deleted. You don't have to fake strength anymore. You don't have to hide the weariness. God sees you, and he still chose you. Not after you heal, not after you succeed. Right now, in your current condition, he's calling you because he knows what's in you, and he's ready to bring it out. But the first move must come from you. He's already moved. He's already spoken. The ball is in your court now. What will you do with this moment? Let go of the fear that says, "What if I fail?" You've already survived worse. Let go of the shame that whispers, You're not worthy. God already said you are. Let go of the lies that tell you you're behind. You're exactly where you need to be to receive what was sent last night. You are in position, you are in reach, but the final step is yours. You can't skip it, you can't delegate it, you can't pray your way around it. You have to choose, with your feet, with your faith, with your voice. This is the hour where things shift, not just spiritually, but visibly. In the coming days, if you respond in obedience, you will begin to see what heaven already released. You'll start to notice changes in areas that once felt dry. You'll feel the weight begin to lift. You'll find unexpected favor, divine appointments, sudden peace. These aren't random, these are evidence that what happened last night wasn't just spiritual, it was practical. And the moment you align your steps, the fruit will follow. Preparing the right moment, preparing the exact divine release that happened last night. It wasn't just a moment in time. It was a shift in your atmosphere, a supernatural turning point. And yet, only you didn't see it. That's why this message found you. That's why the urgency is shaking your spirit now. This is your moment to open your eyes and step in before it closes. Don't let your past moments of delay convince you that you're disqualified. You are not disqualified. You are not too late. You didn't miss the blessing, but you're standing right on the edge, and if you turn away now, this may not come around again. Not like this. God isn't asking you to make a leap of logic. He's asking you to make a leap of faith. Because the blessing released last night isn't waiting on your understanding, it's waiting on your agreement. And heaven is still open, but not for long. You've been in a fight, not with people, not even with circumstances, but with spiritual weight that's tried to crush your voice and your vision. The enemy has been working behind the scenes, not to destroy your stuff, but to delay your awareness. Because he knew that if you ever realized what was really happening, if you knew what God had loosed last night, then he would lose all ground in your life. That's why you've been distracted. That's why it felt like your clarity vanished. That wasn't coincidence, that was strategy. But now God is pulling you out of the fog. Comment 1010. If you're ready to walk into divine clarity and not miss what was released. There's a divine inheritance with your name on it, not because you earned it, but because God chose you for it. You were born into this generation, into this moment in history, not by accident, but by assignment. Last night was the signal from heaven that your assignment is no longer waiting, it has begun. Whether you saw it or not, whether you were aware or not, the assignment has already started. You're either going to catch it now, or you'll spend years wondering why nothing ever changed. This moment is the difference. There is grace on this hour, but grace doesn't mean forever. God is patient, yes, but he's also holy, and holy moments carry weight. You are standing in one right now. A moment that will be remembered in heaven as the day you either said yes or walked away unaware. The Lord is not pressuring you, he's pleading, because he sees what's ahead. He sees the doors about to open. He sees the people who need your obedience. He sees the healing on the other side of your yes. You've carried burdens that were never yours. You've been weighed down by fears that God never intended for you to carry. And yet you kept moving. That's what heaven saw. That's what God honored. You didn't give up. You kept praying, even when the answers felt far. You kept showing up, even when nothing made sense. And because of that, God sent the release. But now, you have to pick it up. The miracle was dropped at your feet. If you don't bend down and take it, it will stay there unseen. You've spent enough nights wondering when your time would come. It came. Last night, it came. The chains broke. The delay lifted. The door creaked open. The angels moved, and now you have to move too. Don't let hesitation cost you your next season. Don't let second guessing hold back the blessing. You don't have time for doubt. You only have room for faith. Even if it's small, even if it's shaky, faith is the only key that fits what heaven delivered to you. Comment 1515 if you know this word is confirming everything your spirit already felt. The time for waiting is over. This is not the moment to be passive. This is the moment to rise. God says, I didn't bring you this far to leave you now. I didn't open heaven to let you stay where you were. There is movement happening, and your miracle is moving with it. If you don't move, you'll miss it. It won't be taken from you, but it will pass you by. God's promises are still true, but they're also time-sensitive. This is one of those moments where the choice matters more than you know. You are not just being invited into a blessing, you're being called into divine alignment. That's bigger than comfort. That's about calling, about kingdom purpose, about waking up the gift inside you that's been asleep for too long. You didn't lose it, you just stopped listening to it. But now God is turning the volume back up. The voice of purpose is rising. The pull of your destiny is growing stronger, and if you feel it, that means you're still on schedule, but only if you move now. What if everything you've been taught about money is a lie? A hidden 9-word prayer buried in a classified FBI report is now helping thousands attract wealth without lifting a finger. Scientists say it activates a 150-million-year-old part of your brain that controls abundance. Harvard-backed, lab-tested, life-changing. But the government might pull this secret any minute. Click the link in the description and comments before it's deleted forever. You've spent too long watching other people walk into blessings you thought were meant for you. What you didn't know was that yours was being held for the right moment. Protected, preserved, prepared. And last night, heaven said, it's time. The delivery was made in the Spirit, the seal was broken, and your name was called. You weren't overlooked, you were being saved for now. And the heavens are still echoing with the sound of your name. But you can't afford to treat this casually. This isn't a motivational word. This is heaven's voice calling you into purpose. You need to act. Not emotionally, not impulsively, but faithfully. That may mean changing your posture, shifting your habits, making room for what you've been praying for. You can't keep asking for rain and then refusing to carry an umbrella. You can't keep praying for change and then living like it's never coming. The shift already started. Now you must start living like it has. God's not mad at you. He's amazed by you. That you survived what should have crushed you. That you kept your heart soft even when it broke. That you still believe, even with trembling hands. That's the spiritual residue of what heaven poured out last night. It's still resting over your life, waiting for you to respond. This isn't imagination. This isn't emotion. This is real. This is divine. And the next move isn't God's. It's yours. God says, I've already delivered the answer. I've already broken the resistance. I've already opened the gate. Now walk. But you're standing there, questioning if it's real, afraid to hope again, scared to try one more time. And that's exactly what the enemy wants. Because as long as you delay, you forfeit. But if you take even one step forward, everything that's been held up will begin to flow. You don't need to figure it all out. You just need to say yes with your feet. There's a reason this message is confronting you like this. It's because God isn't willing to let you sleep through this shift. He's shaking you awake with love, with warning, with a fierce kind of mercy. You've cried out for breakthrough, and it came, just not in the way you expected. It came quietly, supernaturally, in the night. And now the miracle is standing in front of you, disguised as a decision. God won't force you, but he'll never stop calling you. That's what he's doing now, calling you back into alignment before the window closes. Comment 1717 if you're ready to walk in alignment with what heaven released. You may be wondering, but how do I step into it? It starts with a yes, a full-hearted, nothing held back, even if I'm afraid kind of yes. It looks like surrender. It sounds like worship. It moves like trust. God is not asking for your perfection. He's asking for your obedience. That obedience might mean ending something that's been holding you back. It might mean returning to a place of prayer. It might mean shifting your focus, even when it's uncomfortable. But the one thing it always means is this movement. You cannot stay where you are and receive what's already been set in motion. You've walked through seasons of silence, but silence doesn't mean absence. In fact, God was the most active behind the scenes when you heard him the least. That's why last night's move was so powerful. It wasn't just about you, it was about everything and everyone connected to your calling. Your obedience will unlock blessings that ripple into places you haven't even seen yet. That's how big this is. That's why the enemy tried so hard to make sure you didn't realize what happened. But now you do. You know something is different. You can't go back to normal. You weren't created for normal. You were created to carry glory. And carrying glory requires courage. You won't always feel ready. You won't always feel strong, but you will always have grace. And grace is what you need now, not to survive, but to step. The step of faith, the step of trust, the step of saying, I don't know where this leads, but I know God moved, and I refuse to miss it. You were born for more than waiting rooms and wilderness seasons, and though those places served a purpose, they were never meant to be permanent. They taught you to listen. They taught you to endure. But now they're over. What heaven started last night was the transition, the crossing over. You are standing between the wilderness and the promise, between what was and what will be. And the bridge between those two is obedience. Nothing more, nothing less. Comment Amen if your heart is saying yes before your mind can catch up. God is not calling you to leap over mountains. He's calling you to take one step, and that one step carries weight. That step signals heaven that you heard him. That step releases angels to begin clearing the path even faster. That step silences the voice of fear that's been echoing in your head. And that step brings peace like you haven't felt in months, because peace doesn't come from knowing the plan, it comes from knowing who is leading. Heaven rejoices over that one step. Because it's not about how far you move, it's about who you trust. And right now God is asking you to trust him with what you can't see. He's asking you to believe that last night's release wasn't a dream, that it wasn't random, that it was the very answer to the prayers you almost stopped praying. He heard them all, and he moved. You may have missed it when it happened, but you don't have to miss it now. Why are neuroscientists obsessed with a 9-word sentence? Because this sentence, spoken once a day, is turning financial stress into sudden blessings. More than 19,000 people have already used it to erase debt and unlock a life of wealth, freedom, and peace. The results are so powerful, some believe it's divine. If you're seeing this, you're lucky. The page might disappear any moment. Click the link in the description and comments to know this secret before it's deleted forever. This isn't pressure, this is preparation. This isn't fear, this is fire. A fire that has been reignited in your soul. You've gone through too much to stop here. You've grown through too much to go backwards. God didn't preserve you through the storm so you could settle in the valley. He preserved you because you were meant to lead others out. That's why the battle's been heavy. That's why your nights have been long. Because the oil God placed on your life is not ordinary. And what was released over you is not common. You are not common. You are set apart. The fact that you are still standing proves it. The fact that your spirit is stirring right now confirms it. Don't silence that stirring. Don't rationalize it away. That's God. That's heaven. That's your moment. The same God who moved in the night is speaking to your heart right now. He's not finished, but he's waiting on you. You've got to meet him in the move. Heaven released it. Now you must receive it. You're not receiving with words, only you're receiving with your life, your steps, your choices, your focus. Let everything in you align with what was given. Let nothing stop you. Let no one distract you. You were called for this. Something divine was loosed into your life last night, and now God is watching for your response. This isn't about rushing you. It's about rescuing you from missing what you've waited your whole life for. You didn't endure everything you've faced just to live an almost life. God didn't deliver you just to watch you delay again. This is the hour to choose faith over fear, obedience over comfort, now over later. You've been saying, God, when is it going to happen? And he answered, it already did. While the world slept, heaven moved. While your body rested, your name was spoken in the courts of heaven. Assignments were given, plans were activated, generational curses were reversed. And all of it was tied to your yes. You didn't see it with your eyes, but your spirit was marked. You've been feeling the pull ever since. That weight in your chest, the shift in your atmosphere, it's all confirmation that what you prayed for is standing just a step away. But here's the truth. If you don't act now, it won't wait forever. Heaven's release has already happened. God's yes has already been given. But if you keep hesitating, if you let fear keep whispering, if you stay in the same mindset, the blessing can pass. Not because God is cruel, but because his plans move on schedule. He is gracious, but he's also moving, and you're invited to move with him. Comment, Amen, if you refuse to let another moment pass without saying yes to God's timing. This is your moment to break the cycle. You know the one, the pattern of almosts. The pattern of open doors you didn't walk through. The pattern of sensing God but holding back. That cycle ends here. What happened last night was not a repeat. It was new. It was divine. It was appointed. And it carries the power to not only change your life, but to rewrite the story of your bloodline. You're not just fighting for you. You're rising for those who come after you. God's not asking for everything. He's asking for obedience. A single act of alignment can bring more change than years of striving. The blessing isn't waiting on you to be better. It's waiting on you to be available, to open your hands, to trust that what God is offering is far greater than what you're afraid of losing. You're not losing anything that's meant to stay. You're stepping into everything that was meant to be yours all along. Don't look for signs in the sky. The sign already came. You're reading it right now. God moved last night. You are being woken up today. That's the confirmation. That's the sign. The enemy would love for you to sit in hesitation until the clock runs out. But God says, before 11:50, 1 p.m., move, believe, obey. You don't need perfect conditions. You just need courage. The kind of courage that trusts God even when the room is silent and the path feels uncertain. Comment 222 if you trust the shift is real, even if you can't fully see it yet. Everything in your life is about to look different if you respond, if you say yes, if you move now. The favor you've been praying for is attached to your next step. The clarity you've been begging for will meet you when you start walking. You've been asking God to show up, but God is waiting for you to show up. to meet him in the moment, to stop shrinking back, to finally take what he's already given. There is still time, but not much. The heavens don't wait endlessly. When God releases something, it's because the time is right. And when the time is right, action must follow. This is your reminder that you are not forgotten, that your prayers shook the heavens, that God sees you, hears you, and has already moved for you. But this moment now depends on your decision. This is your side of the story. What you do next will determine what you experience next. Don't wait for another sign. This is already more than enough. God is being clearer than he's ever been. This isn't just a message, it's an invitation, it's a turning point. It's the final wake-up call before the blessing shifts into someone else's hands. Not because you aren't worthy, but because God won't force you. He never has, he never will, but he is watching, and he is waiting. The pain you've carried wasn't pointless. The long nights, the silent seasons, the prayers with no response, they were preparing you for this hour. And now the heavens have answered. You didn't miss it, but you have to move quickly. Heaven doesn't operate on human timelines. When it's time, and God says, the time is now. This banned wealth signal was hidden in a government vault for over 70 years until now. It's a simple 9-word brain trigger used by elites to attract unlimited money, while the rest of the world struggles. But the moment too many people see this, it could be deleted. Click the link in the description and comments before it's taken down forever. There's a peace you've never known waiting for you on the other side of your yes. There's a level of joy, purpose, provision, and protection that is already yours, but it's activated through obedience. You're not working for it, you're receiving it. But receiving always involves a step, a risk, a choice to leave what's familiar and follow what's holy. You've done enough thinking, you've done enough waiting, you've done enough analyzing. This isn't the moment to process. This is the moment to respond. You've been praying for the door. It opened, and you didn't even know. But now you do. And now you must walk through it, or risk spending another year wondering why things didn't change. God already changed them. Last night. The only question is, will you? Last night wasn't random. It wasn't a coincidence. It was divine alignment, the kind of movement in the spiritual realm that only happens once in a generation. And it had your name on it. God didn't move for everyone. He moved for you, but what happens next depends on whether you rise or remain where you've always been. This is not the time to second-guess yourself. You're not too weak. You're not too late. You're not too far gone. Heaven chose this moment for you, knowing exactly who you are. God factored in your doubts, your fears, your past, and still said yes. He knew where you would be right now. He knew you'd feel unsure. That's why he sent this word, because the shift was too big to leave you in the dark. God is in shock because only you didn't know what happened. And now that you do, you have to act like it. You can't unhear this. You can't pretend you don't feel what's stirring in your chest. That's not emotion. That's your spirit waking up. That's the weight of heaven brushing against your life, asking you to move, to step, to obey. You've asked God to change your situation, but he's asking you to change your position, because he already changed the atmosphere around you. Last night, the heavens opened. Now it's your heart that needs to open too. Comment 333 if you feel your spirit saying yes, even while your mind hesitates. Your faith is being called to action now, not next week, not when things feel easier. Now. There is a divine window still open, and you are standing right in front of it, but it won't remain open much longer. That's not fear, that's truth. Because timing matters to God. He does things in order, in season, in purpose, and when he moves, he expects his children to follow, not because he demands it, but because he knows what's waiting on the other side. The moment you move, the blessing will begin to manifest. Don't let the enemy convince you that nothing is happening. Don't let silence fool you. What was done last night in the spirit is now making its way into your reality, but your movement is what activates it. God has always worked this way. He told Abraham to move before showing him where. He asked Peter to step out before calming the storm. That's how heaven works. Faith first, then fulfillment. You don't need to know how. You don't need to see the whole picture. You just need to say yes. You need to decide that your destiny matters more than your comfort, that your calling is bigger than your fear. Because God didn't release something small last night. He released something that changes bloodlines, that restores identity, that breaks curses off your future children, that heals wounds buried so deep even you forgot they were still bleeding. And now, he's waiting on you. One step, that's all. One bold step in the direction of obedience, and everything changes. The heaviness will lift, the doors will swing open, the resistance will lose its grip, because it already did in the spirit. The only reason you still feel stuck is because you haven't caught up with what God already did, but you can, right now, in this moment. Comment 1111 if you believe heaven already moved and now it's your turn. The next few hours matter more than you know. Don't spend them doubting. Don't waste them waiting for another confirmation. You're already living inside the answer. You are surrounded by what you've been praying for. You just have to open your eyes and walk into it. You're standing in a place where heaven has already spoken, where chains were already broken, where strongholds already crumbled. All that's left is your obedience. You are not small, you are not weak, you are not forgotten, you are chosen. That's why the attacks have been relentless. That's why it's felt like everything's been trying to pull you down. The enemy saw what was coming. He tried everything to wear you out before the release came. But he failed. You're still here, still breathing, still reading this. And now the very thing he feared has happened. You're waking up. You're seeing clearly. You're realizing that everything is already shifting. You've got to stop waiting for the feeling of readiness. You've got to stop waiting for perfect peace. That's not how this works. The peace will meet you in the obedience. The strength will meet you in the movement. You don't need all the answers. You just need to stop standing still. If you stay here too long, the opportunity will pass. And not because God changes his mind, but because this moment won't last forever. God's heart is open to you. His arms are stretched wide. His favor has already gone before you. But this is not something you can think your way into. It's something you must walk into. Let go of what held you back last season. Let go of the version of you that settled for survival, that you was never meant to stay. You are not a wanderer anymore. You are not waiting anymore. You are walking into destiny. Can just saying 9 words daily actually make money flow into your life? A top neuroscientist says yes, and the FBI accidentally confirmed it. This forgotten prayer is now transforming ordinary people into debt-free and financially free for life. But this secret won't stay online long. Click the link in description and comments now to access it before it's permanently deleted. Every single battle, every single delay, every closed door, it was all preparing you for now, and now is here. This isn't a warm-up. This isn't practice. This is the moment heaven wrote your name into the story and said, move. This is the page. Turn. The breakthrough. The divine alignment. And the only thing that can stop it is if you let it pass. Tired. Spiritually numb. But God refused to let the miracle pass by without shaking your spirit awake. Because what happened last night wasn't just important, it was eternal. And the fact that you're still unaware of it has broken heaven's silence. God is not standing in anger. He's standing in urgency. He's not watching to punish. He's watching to rescue. Because what was poured over your life last night was holy. It was planned for years. It was timed to the second. And it has the power to reroute your future. But only if you step into it. You cannot afford to delay any longer. You cannot ignore the pull anymore. You are not just in danger of missing a blessing, you are at risk of forfeiting the very thing you were born to carry. This is the moment to get serious, the moment to stop pushing the voice of God to the side, because the atmosphere has changed around you. It doesn't matter if your routine feels the same. What you're walking through now is not the same land you stood in yesterday. You crossed a threshold in the spirit without realizing it. The door behind you has closed. The door in front of you is wide open. And now God is standing at that door, waiting for your faith to move first. Comment, Amen, if you're done waiting and ready to walk through the door God already opened. You have more in you than you think. You've let fear speak louder than your calling. You've let failure define too many of your decisions. But last night, heaven didn't speak to your fears. Heaven spoke to your future. That's what was released. Not a feeling, a future. Not a wish, a word. And when God releases a word, it cannot return void. It must accomplish what it was sent to do, but only if you partner with it. Your partnership is the missing piece. You might not feel ready. That's okay. God doesn't call the ready. He calls the willing. And when the willing say yes, He makes them ready. You don't have to be strong. You don't have to be brave. You just have to stop saying no. That quiet no, the one you whisper when no one's around. The one that says, maybe later, I'm not good enough. I'm not strong enough. God already heard it, and He's still calling you anyway. Because He knows who you are underneath the fear. This is your wake-up call, not because you're asleep in life, but because you're asleep in the spirit, the kind of sleep that makes you numb, that convinces you you're fine when you're not. That tells you surviving is enough. But God didn't send His Spirit last night for you to survive. He sent it for you to rise, to step into the very things you've been praying for but too afraid to pursue. He answered, you didn't know, but now you do, and now it's on you to act. Comment 555 if you believe heaven is still waiting for your yes before this day ends. You are closer than ever. But you can't measure your closeness by feelings. If you could see what's already shifted around you in the spirit, you'd be on your knees right now. Angels were dispatched. Strongholds began to fall. The old labels began to burn off of you. You were called out of hiding, and that calling is still echoing in the atmosphere around you. Don't silence it with doubt. Don't smother it with distraction. Let it burn. Let it lead you.